Hey guys, how you doing? So today we're gonna do something fun. I'm gonna go ahead and make some dog treats. So these are gonna be pumpkin dog treats. I have a can of pumpkin here. I did get a huge can, bigger than what is normally called for this recipe. Normally it's just a 16-ounce can, so I'm also going to do a different pumpkin treat as well with the remainder of it, and hopefully I can get rid of the whole thing. You do want to make sure when you get pumpkin that's 100% pure pumpkin, that doesn't have any added spice for like a pie. So no added sugar or cinnamon or stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do today, and let's get to it. Alright, let's get to it. So we're going to do the first recipe. It's going to be like drops. So what I have is just these little screw things. This is for like cake decorating, so like frosting and stuff like that. So you should be able to get these at like Joann's or Michael's pretty easily. It's just like a little screw cap. And then I have tips. These all have numbers on them. There's totally like billions of different tips out there. So what I have here is a 32 and a 21, and these are just like little star tips. They make pretty good sized drops and stuff like that. Last time I experimented with a ton of different little drop thingies, and these seem to work the best, and they're a lot easier to clean. So I did go up and I got the 32. I don't think I used the 32 last time. So the one thing I don't like about these treats that I'm gonna make is right after you make them, they recommend that to store them, you actually put them in the freezer to store them so they don't go bad. It's totally fine. It totally works for like at-home training, but if you want to go out to like a training class or something like that, and you're going to have them out of the freezer for more than say 3 or 4 hours, they tend to get mushy and kind of gross. So that's the one bad thing about these treats, but besides that, like, they're awesome, especially when they first come out of the oven. They're fabulous. But I have a dehydrator now, so I'm going to attempt to dehydrate these treats after I bake them and stuff. I'll probably only do that to half of them just to see how they turn out, and so hopefully that will solve the problem of them getting like really mushy. So I got the 32 tip, which is a bigger tip than I used last time. I think I actually even used a 16 last time, but I got the 21 and the 32. I got a 32, so it's a lot bigger because they may shrink when I dehydrate them. I don't know. So I'm gonna just do 2 of these, and hopefully because they'll be bigger, I won't be here forever, because the recipe is 16 ounces of canned pumpkin. So you can get a 16-ounce can. I have a bigger one, like I said earlier. And then the pumpkin, a spoonful of peanut butter. So these peanut butter pumpkin treats. I'm just gonna use this because this is what I have. You really shouldn't use peanut butter with sugar in it, and this has peanut butter with sugar in it. But it's not their main part of her diet, so I'm not too worried about it. And powdered milk. So I have this instant non-fat milk. So that's for the first recipe, and then the second recipe I'm going to try is the pumpkin, the remainder of the pumpkin, flour, and an egg. So, and then those I'm going to try to do more like a biscuit type thing instead of the drops. I may try a few drops to see what happens. So I don't have huge, I try not to pick like ginormous cookie cutters, but these are small enough where I could break it up once or twice. This would be not really training treats, but like snacks. And then I do have 2 little teeny tiny cookie cutters, so I'll make, these are more training size pieces, but we'll have some larger cookies. So you can use, these are just pastry bag things. You can use a pastry bag. I'm not going to use one of my pastry bags, I'm just going to use a Ziploc. So if I remember how to do this, you put this piece inside to one of the corners, and take some scissors and you like cut it off so that it goes over it. And then on the outside, you can do it on the inside, it does work. But if you ever want to change your tips while you're, you know, without replacing your bag essentially, you put it on the outside. So that goes on there, and then you take this screw, goes over it, and then it screws on. It screws over the plastic bag. And then now you're good to go. Obviously this would be a lot tighter fit here if you had a pastry bag. So, but I'm just gonna use a Ziploc. So there you go. Other things that I have is going to be some parchment paper and a cookie sheet. They say the drop recipe, so the first one I'm gonna make, it does about 2 of these, and I think last time I actually did more like 3. And then I have like a cooling rack over here as well. And we got a bowl. I'm gonna start with the small one. And I have a mixer to make this a little bit faster, hopefully. All right. So first recipe, go ahead, open this up. And then you get different can opener. Smells like pumpkin. All right, get rid of that. Okay, so got a scale here. Don't know where the bowl is. I'm just gonna use this. Zero this out and put 16. It's like exactly 16. All right, so 16 ounces of pumpkin, and then a spoonful of peanut butter. So you see there's really not that much peanut butter in here compared to everything else. And then a half cup of dried milk. I'm actually going to open a new one, just so it's extra fresh. There we go. Okay, now we're going to keep going out of camera because I didn't put everything aside that I needed to. Okay. Okay, so that looks really good, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and mix the other recipe, just so I don't have to clean that twice. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the oven for this first batch, which is going to be at 325. So I go ahead and preheat the oven for that. And then this one's actually gonna be a little higher at 350. So let me go preheat the oven. Okay, so now we gotta do it says a cup of pumpkin. So I might make the recipe bigger just so I can get rid of all the pumpkin. Probably maybe a cup and a quarter. Make a mess here. Yeah, like a spoonful more. Spoon or two. Okay, not that much more. All right, and then it says 2 cups of flour. So it'll actually be like just over 2 cups. I'll rinse this out real quick. So we need 8 of these for 2 cups. I'll probably put 9, I think. Just an extra 1/4 of a cup. Sounds about right. This is a ton of flour. Okay, so I'm gonna stop at 8 because I think I miscounted. That's probably 9. So that's a lot of flour. All right, and then it says 1 egg. Just 1. All right, so 1 egg, 2 cups of flour, or maybe 9 1/4 cups. So it'd be a cup and a 1/4. 2 cups and 1/4. So if I did miscount, we'll find out. So I'm just gonna mix this around and see what it looks like. Not sure why I did that. I think this is like incredibly thick. So pull those out. Kind of get hands dirty, I think. Yeah, it's like really, really thick. And maybe another egg, because there's still a lot of dry down there. Let's see. Get our hands dirty for a minute. Actually need more flour because this should be a rollout recipe. So it's actually probably too sticky. I think we're gonna need more flour, which means I got both my hands dirty. Not a pro cooker, you guys. Don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making a mess. That's what I'm doing. I am making a mess. Okay, so I think we're we're going to go ahead and just let that sit. I'm gonna wash my hands, and we need to start piping out some of the dots because the oven should be heated up soon. So I at least have one tray to go for that, and then we'll add more flour to this, I think. It's a little too sticky. Alrighty, so that's gonna definitely need more flour. Go ahead and put these at the sink. So we'll get our parchment paper out. And what helps is if you kind of wet the counter a little bit, and then you put your parchment paper down, and it'll actually kind of help it stick, so you don't have to worry about it rolling up for the most part. Don't know why it's rolling up that way. Normally it does not. There. Alright. So we'll just borrow some cookie cutters. Alright, so we have our piping bag. Actually, I need a spoon. Get these guys. This is very soft. This is a little softer than I think it was the last time. It's been a while though, so. I might need to like chill this. It is very soft. Just gonna wipe that up. So we're just going to hold it like this. Hopefully it will zip close for us. I may just have to get a pastry bag, a frosting bag. And we just want to do little dots. Down, up, down, up. All right, so we got those. They're kind of messy. You'll kind of figure out what you like to do, and you'll kind of just get in this rhythm. It actually goes pretty quick. And you can mess with different tip styles and do whatever. If with this tip style, this like star tip style, if you start with before touching the parchment paper, you'll get more of a round star, or a round little thing. And if you start with the tip touching, so if I went all the way down and it's touching the parchment paper, and I squeeze, and then I lift up, I'm gonna get more of a star, where you'll see like little points on it. But if I start, this is touching, and I start like up here, and I squeeze, touch, and come up, it's more round. You don't have like the points on the end. So whatever you feel like doing, you go ahead and do it, and you'll kind of just get a rhythm for it. And it goes pretty quick. But as you can see, it looks like I barely touched this bag, and I already did a full sheet. So this does a ton of treats. The next sheet I'll probably do with the bigger one. This is actually the smaller one, the 21. And they make good size training treats, I think. Maybe a little on the bigger size, but they should be the higher value ones, so you shouldn't be giving them out, treat, because they'll definitely fill up on them. But I think next time next sheet I will use the bigger one, just in case they shrink when I dehydrate them. So, there, so that's all ready to go, so we're gonna go ahead and put this guy here. The oven still hasn't preheated yet. Go look at it. Okay, so the oven is at 300. We're almost there. We got to get to 325. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it looks like up close. So this is what it looks like up close. As you can see, these are more like stars over here. And then when I first started, I was not touching, so they're more round. So if you start not touching the parchment and you let a little bit squeeze out, and then you could kind of like dip, you'll get like the little nicks in it. So they look more round. But it is easier just to press onto the parchment, squeeze out a little bit. Once you see the stars form, pull up, and it gets a little bit more consistent, I think. But yeah, so that's what they look like. I have no idea how many treats are right here. You could probably guess. I'd say close to 100. I mean, there's a ton of them here. And there's still a little bit in there, and this bag is still like pretty much, you know, completely full. I don't want to squeeze it, but there's still a lot in there. We didn't use a whole lot. So this definitely made a ton of treats. Okay, so the oven's on, so let's go ahead, put these in the oven. 325. They go in, and these guys cook for like 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, we will have our next batch. So I'm gonna go ahead and set an alarm, and I think we will go ahead and get another piece of parchment paper and pipe out some bigger ones. And I'll show you how to replace that tip. Okay, so we're gonna do another round with the bigger ones. These are cookie cutters, that worked really well. All right, so what you have to do is just carefully unscrew this little collar. Take that off. Take this off. You will have some left in here, but I might go back to this one, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Put this guy back on and screw the collar on. It's that easy to replace one of these tips. So you could do a whole bunch of different things. And you could do lines. If you want to do like little sticks you could break up, I've done those. They don't cook as quickly as the rest of them. They take a little bit longer to cook, especially if you make them really thick. Before I forget, let's set an alarm so it's 10:24. I normally use my phone, but I'm using it to film. Okay, I went ahead and set a timer. I'm using my phone to film and for the timer, so hopefully, I've never done that before, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But hopefully I'll guess and I'll just turn it off before then. Anyway, so we're gonna use the bigger tip, make some bigger treats. These definitely are coming out more rounded. Just gonna do some lines for fun. I think this might be a little too runny for this tip. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch back to the other tip. I'm not liking how these are coming out. So. Elsa's being hyper in the background. I'm sure you hear her squeaking. Are you being silly? Yeah, you're being silly. Alright. Voila. There we go. And I think we're getting down there. Probably get, you see, you know, still got a good chunk left. So many dog treats. I'm gonna go ahead and try to put some more flour on this. I'm gonna use a ton of flour. do try to reuse the parchment, but I think because I'm making such a big batch this time around, I'm gonna have to use a little bit more. Okay, one hand this time. I can add some if I need to. Alright. The one thing, here I'm going to put a little bit more in here. So that's a lot more. It's a lot more. And then I'm going to get the pinhole. Alright, so can you guys tell how excited Elsa is? She's like, it smells good in here. Yeah. You excited for these cookies, huh? All the good treats. Not sure exactly how thin or thick I want to make these. Elsa does tend to like more crunchy cookies, so we definitely want to make them more like crunchy biscuit kind of things. Beautiful. So you see I am very good at baking. Not. We got all these leaves, which I think is just perfect as we are hopefully going into fall soon. I am so done with 100-degree weather. Okay, so now I get to, I think it's too thick down here. So, oh, will it do this for me? Nope, of course not. These are done. I'm going to pull these guys out and swap them out. Next batch going in. Alright, just to give you a closer look, this is what this is. So it looks like it's kind of peeling off, which is good, but look at how much I have extra. Like I could do another batch of these. I have to give some of these away or something. Oh, someone's treats. This also wants her treats. She's like waiting. Okay, so like these are done. See, they've kind of darkened, shriveled up a little bit, so they'll dry and cool down. Do you want one else? Do you want to try a tweet? There you go. Ooh, is that good? You're like, yes. You can't lick my hands because I'm still finishing treats. And this has raw egg in it, so I gotta make sure. Well, people give their dogs raw eggs all the time. Typically, not the best. Alright, so I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod. So yeah, so now we just have to repeat the process. I already have, I think, 2 sheets of the big cookies, and then I have 2 sheets of the pipe cookies, or the drop bag cookies, drops. And I still have that much left. So probably gonna be 3 sheets each. So I'm gonna have 6 sheets of cookies. Which are probably gonna end up lasting all month. So, alright guys, so I just took the last one out. As you can see, I did kind of burn some to a crisp here. So I left them in a little too long, but some of them still, like the middle ones, are still kind of like gummy a little bit. So I think maybe I just put them too close together or something like that. So anyway, so I'm gonna have to pick out some of them. They're just a little too burnt. So I'm gonna lose a couple of them. But these turned out really good, I think. A lot of flour on some of the later ones, but otherwise they stick to the counter. But yeah, I think those turned out really well. And I did 3 sheets of each. So 3 sheets of these cookies and 3 sheets of these little dots here. So lots of treats. And they're over here. Here we go on the cooling rack. We have these guys and these guys, and these are some burnt ones that I picked out. So there's still more, and they're falling. The small ones like to fall through the grate, but like that one's probably a little too far gone. So I have to go through them. All of these look good though, so at least I'll have these. And they do break up. This one's a little soft. But I am going to try to dehydrate these, just so they keep a little better. But they do break up, so should be good. And a couple little sticks. These are soft. Actually, this one's not soft. I had another one that was thicker. That's soft. This guy. This guy's a little soft. So, but it's probably fine for dehydrating. So I may leave them a little gummy in the future. That probably will make them dehydrate better. Just, you know, because they gotta be cooked, but not overly cooked. Like this one's a little crispy. Asa! Asa, you want a treat? Come here. Sit. Good. There you go. Nice and crunchy. But she likes her treats crunchy. She's silly. This one likes everything, huh? You want a little treat, Zoe? Here, I'll give you one of these. Sit. Good girl. She doesn't like to sit on the tile. She's a silly puppy. So, yeah, those are all the treats for today. Whole bunch of new treats. And some burned ones too. So, I don't think I burnt any of them last time, so I gotta figure out what I did wrong. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more training, treat training, make videos, something like that, go ahead, hit thumbs up. If you are interested in any kind of service dog stuff or training or more vlogs, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.